As you know, it's important to me that the supplements I recommend and use are of the highest quality. That's why I stock the Protocol for Life Balance product line at my online dispensary, drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. Protocol for Life Balance offers a wide range of professional-grade products using ingredients backed by strong scientific research, including a suite of supplements specifically designed to support neurological health and cognition: Coggumin SLCP, Magtine, phosphatidylserine, and Brain Regain. Coggumin SLPC is curcumin optimized to penetrate the blood-brain barrier, where it helps protect brain tissue. Magtine may support healthy cognitive function, learning, and memory. Phosphatidylserine supports neuronal membrane fluidity, promoting cognitive function and mental acuity. And Brain Regain is a broadly useful herbal health aid that may be advantageous for supporting healthy cognitive performance. For more information and to order, just go to drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. That's drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. Protocol for Life Balance is an A-rated GMP manufacturer of premium dietary supplements.
Welcome to Intelligent Medicine, America's foremost program on health, medicine, and nutrition, featuring the latest on both conventional and alternative therapies. Now, here's Dr. Ronald Hoffman.
Welcome to Intelligent Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. Our number is 877-726-8255. Using that number, you can come directly into the doctor's office and you can pose a question and I'll answer it. We'll take some of those questions a little later in today's program. They can be questions, they can be comments. Just by the way, intelligent medicine means the best of high-tech medicine, the best of natural therapies, and every week I boil down the important health stories of the week for you with my own personal imprimatur. Sometimes the stuff that you read in the press is highly misleading and skewed and biased. And we break it down. We actually look at the studies here. We don't just look at the top line and feed you a press release. We look behind the curtain to find out about the truth in relationship to health, nutrition, high-tech medical innovations. That's what intelligent medicine is about. And we've been doing it for 40 years now. I wrote a newsletter article this week that summarizes the history of intelligent medicine across 4 decades. Check it out at drhoffman.com if you haven't yet subscribed. So there's trouble in MAHA land this week as a conflict has emerged between MAHA stalwarts and their erstwhile leader, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, over the issue of glyphosate, aka Roundup, something made by a company called Bayer. Bayer is a huge international chemical and pharmaceutical company, and they make an herbicide which we're encouraged to spray on our weeds for so many years until we found out that it was carcinogenic. And so it would seem that an absolute ban on glyphosate would make sense. But as I have often said here in analyzing the MAHA movement and its peculiar situation within the Trump administration, a Republican administration, which generally favors kind of a laissez-faire approach to regulation, I knew that eventually it would come to a head. And it already has to some extent in the EPA, headed by Commissioner Zeldin, who heads the Environmental Protection Agency, over a loosening of regulations around environmental chemicals. Well, it's come to a head now around glyphosate. And what happened was tensions erupted last week when President Trump signed an executive order that was supportive of glyphosate. And what it does is it basically exonerates the Bayer company and shields them from liability That is, after they made a major payoff of $7.2 billion to victims of glyphosate who developed a form of lymphoma that is directly linked to glyphosate. There's no question that glyphosate exposure was the problem. And so they've said, look, for the sake of the economy, we do not want to destroy a big chemical and big agricultural company. We do not want to liquidate them, as has happened historically with, like the asbestos companies. They have been completely eradicated as a result of lawsuits filed against the company due to mesothelioma claims. And so they are shielding Bayer from lawsuits, from further lawsuits. And they're also authorizing the continued use of glyphosate. And so there are a lot of people in the MAHA movement, yours truly included. Jillian Michaels, who is a big influencer who's down with MAHA, had this to say. She rebuked President Trump's executive order approving the use of glyphosate, describing the move as, quote, devastating. She said, this is actually devastating. It's not a conspiracy theory that glyphosate is linked to cancer. There are hundreds of studies that have illustrated now that it increases risk significantly for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, yeah, clear-cut link. The science is there. Trump signed an executive order that was supportive of glyphosate. And he also couched it as a national security issue. He directed the Agricultural Secretary to ensure that the country has an adequate supply of glyphosate-based herbicides, saying that producers of such chemicals should have immunity under the Defense Production Act. It's kind of like a roundabout way of shielding them, invoking national security concerns. And you might think that this would have led to an irreconcilable clash with HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the foremost proponent of MAHA, but Kennedy blinked, and Bobby has decided to knuckle under to this edict and said that while he's not a big fan of glyphosate, he understands the rationale for allowing it to proceed. But he says at the same time that we need to move forward to find better ways to safeguard our agricultural products, to look at more innovative, safer methods. But in the meantime, going cold turkey on glyphosate would harm our standing in the world as agricultural producers. It would create great hardship for farmers. And so the back and forth is between the MAHA stalwarts who are saying, let's get rid of it now. And when it comes to glyphosate, I mean, let's look at it reasonably. There are three options. One is to ban it now. Go cold turkey and stop using it, because if we know that it's harmful and can cause cancer, and, oh, by the way, there are other harms associated with glyphosate. It's not just, is it going to cause cancer or are you going to be fine? There's a whole spectrum of problems associated with glyphosate, including an important issue, which is that glyphosate, if ingested, taken in food and in water, that glyphosate can damage the microbiome. There's evidence that it might destroy beneficial bacteria. I mean, it's a weed killer, and it does have some action against beneficial microbes that inhabit our intestinal tracts, that are part of the way that we regulate our immune systems and maintain overall health. So there's the ban now option. On the other hand, at the other extreme, there's the it's okay option, which is like, let's keep using it. Yeah, it may cause cancer, rarely, but in general, it's okay. Let's just keep using it. No problemo. But the third option, and that seems to be an option that RFK Jr. is envisioning is let's keep using it, but let's ultimately have as a goal a phase out where we replace it with less harmful, environmentally harmful, and yes, harmful to human health alternatives, including, and one of the things that they've looked at is that they've looked at farm machinery that can use lasers. Yeah, laser technology to kill harmful weeds selectively while not damaging crops. And they're exploring that. That's not ready for prime time, but maybe that's a less harmful alternative rather than dousing crops with chemicals. Look, it's going to cause a battle royal within the MAHA movement because MAHA stalwarts, including my organization and the Alliance for Natural Health, we're not happy with this. And we're going to publish a very strong editorial urging Trump and RFK to reconsider. It's probably not going to happen because I think powerful commercial interests have interceded and they've said, you can't pull the plug on this. Probably somebody has picked up the phone and said, hey, they got in touch with lobbyists and they said, look, we just paid out $7.25 billion. We can't afford to pay out any more. This is a product that's important for American agriculture. The farmers were up in arms because they said we can't grow crops, conventional crops, that is, organic crops. Yeah, you can grow, and that would be great. But the future, I think, holds that we need more organic, pesticide and herbicide-free produce for the sake of our health, for the sake of the environment, and avoid dependency on things like glyphosate. It's going to be a disappointment I understand a lot of people in MAHA, they're really upset, and we'll talk about it more with some of our experts on future podcasts. This is something that needs to be worked out long term. 877-726-8255 is our number. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, and this is Intelligent Medicine. If you've followed my work, you know that I consider omega-3 fish oil to be an indispensable part of my daily regimen, and that I've recommended it for my patients and followers for decades. If you're already taking omega-3s, you should know that I've discovered a product so special that it's become my go-to brand. Dr. Jeffrey Bland, one of the luminaries in the world of complementary health, takes omega-3s to a new level. Omega-3 Rejuvenate from Big Bold Health is a premium blend of pure oils from wild-caught Alaskan cod and sockeye salmon, sourced from the pristine waters of Alaska. Unlike most other brands, Omega-3 Rejuvenate does it differently. The product comes straight from the sea into the hands of skilled fishermen, instantly flash frozen, and taken to their specially designed shoreside plant using a low-heat technique to extract the pure amber omega oil that contains all natural and abundant full-spectrum omega-3s, including EPA, DHA, as well as DPA, plus all natural vitamins A and D, and naturally occurring pro-resolving mediators to support cardiovascular, cognitive, and immune health. Their unique process preserves the natural goodness of the fish, so you get maximum benefits in every soft gel. No fillers, no shortcuts, just pure, potent wellness. Visit bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman and experience the difference. That's bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman for Omega-3 Rejuvenate. Use coupon code Hoffman20 for 20% off site-wide. If your quest for longevity feels overwhelming, here's some good news. It starts with one simple daily habit. MitoPure gummies from Timeline. They're the first ever longevity gummies that ignite mitophagy, your body's natural anti-aging pathway. MitoPure is a clinically validated solution backed by over 15 years of research. MitoPure gummies utilize a powerful compound that redefines what's possible for your longevity. MitoPure produces the first ever urolithin A gummies that support your cellular energy so you feel strong, clear, and vibrant. Boost your cellular energy and enhance muscle strength and endurance, all without changing your diet or exercise routine. As someone who loves to stay active, I've noticed a significant boost in my workouts since I started using it. I feel stronger and more energized, and my recovery time has improved dramatically. Better recovery starts at the cellular level. For more information and to order, just go to timeline.com/Hoffman. Use coupon code Hoffman at checkout for 20% off. That's timeline.com/Hoffman for 20% off MitoPure gummies with code Hoffman.
drhoffman.com, your portal for cutting-edge information on health and nutrition.
Welcome back to Intelligent Medicine. Dr. Ronald Hoffman here. Our number is 877-726-8255. And as I mentioned earlier, that's the portal by which you get into this program and you can pose a question. So let's hear from someone who dialed 877-726-8255 and recorded a query.
Hi, Dr. Hoffman. I hope you can help. I'm a 68-year-old female and in good health. In December of 2022, I had COVID for the first time. February 2023, I had COVID and HMPV, which my doctor called bird flu at the time. In fact, I actually called you about it. Because of my job, I had to have both Pfizer vaccines, after which I developed a really florid body rash, whole body rash, especially after the booster. So after that second COVID shot, my upper airway is now my weak spot. I was actually hospitalized last year for 4 days because of it after a very bad virus. Saw my pulmonologist. That day that I went, I developed this absolutely crazy rash, both axilla. And I was really afraid that it was shingles. Well, he assured me it wasn't shingles, but made me go see a dermatologist. Went to the dermatologist, and I had a punch biopsy, and I have a documented allergy to both the vaccine and COVID. So now here's my quandary. Probably because of what I've got going on, I should probably get the RSV, the pneumonia vaccine, and even the shingles vaccine. So can I get these vaccines because of a documented COVID vaccine allergy? I don't know if they're related. I have no idea. I'm really, really torn. I hope you can help. Thank you.
Okay, this is a good question. And thank you very much for sharing your experience because, what they've told us, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of distrust about public health messaging, is they told us that the vaccine reactions were minimal and that, nothing to see here, folks. Just move along. Yes, there are occasional allergic reactions, but then we've seen like some, very severe reactions, long-term reactions, myocarditis, blood clots, and so on. And so the allergic reactions after administration of COVID-19 kind of boil down to skin reactions that are usually not immediate, more delayed, but you can get immediate anaphylaxis. You can have shortness of breath, trouble breathing, your throat closes, you can have very itchy mucous membranes, your blood pressure can drop. That's actually one of the reasons why, when you go for the shot, they tell you to sit for a few minutes. They don't just get up and walk out of the store. Just, we'll observe you for 10 minutes, and, if you're fine, great, no problem. Later reactions may emerge. You actually have a documented allergy, which gives you an excuse not to get COVID boosters, and that would be out of the question. But the COVID vaccine is actually very different from other vaccines. And it may be that you have a generalized overactive immune system, you're a hypersensitive person, you might react to a wide range of vaccines or infections with some sort of immune activation, and that's possible. And I think if you get another type of shot, say for the shingles or the pneumovax, that you need to be observed, and you need to do it under circumstances where you can get, an emergency treatment for an allergic reaction. However, the COVID vaccine is so unique. It's the only mRNA vaccine around. And that technology is new. It's not been applied to other vaccines. People who react to the flu vaccine may be allergic to the eggs that the flu vaccine is grown on. But all vaccines are different. They're not all alike. And it's quite possible that if you need those vaccines, that you'll tolerate them and be okay. But you need to take precautions. And thank you for sharing that because, a lot of people say, what's to see here? The government messaging has been no problemo, but a lot of people have had severe reactions. 877-726-8255, our number. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman.
Now Now, more than ever, it is important to have a healthy immune system. Many health professionals agree that probiotics are a leading natural therapy for boosting immune health. Why? Because 70% of your body's immune cells reside in the GI tract. By taking a superior probiotic daily, like Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, you can enhance your overall immune system and immune response. The key to Dr. Ohhira's success is the 500-plus postbiotic metabolites that are in each capsule. Postbiotic metabolites are important to the regulation of most systems in our body. For a short-term immune boost, try Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus. Merging nature and science, Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus combines Brazilian green propolis, vitamin E, astaxanthin, and tocotrienols for additional and powerful immune support. Be proactive about your immune health. Ask your retailer today about Dr. Ohhira's probiotics and Dr. Ohhira's Propolis Plus today. Also available online.
Kids don't just bring home homework, they bring home germs. And those germs don't just stay with them, they spread to the whole household. That's why Clear Nasal Spray was created by a practicing physician to give parents and grandparents peace of mind. You may not think about it, but your nose is filtering out a semi-truck full of air every single day. Clear isn't just another spray. It creates an additional layer of protection in your nose that blocks bacteria and viruses before they can even take hold. Yes, even that virus. Supporting your body's defenses right where germs first try to enter. Clear is a hygiene product recommended for daily use, drug-free, non-drowsy, and safe for all ages. Just a quick spray in the morning and evening helps you cleanse your nose. Don't just hope for protection, create it. Get Clear Nasal Spray, your daily defense. Clear Nasal Spray is available at retailers nationwide and online. Check out Xlear.com for our special offers. That's Xlear.com.
A regular dose of intelligent medicine injected directly into your inbox. Subscribe to Dr. Hoffman's free newsletter. Just go to drhoffman.com.
Welcome back to Intelligent Medicine. Dr. Ronald Hoffman here. 877-726-8255. Our number, please note that. Should you have a question or a comment, and comments are fine too. If something happens to you that you want to share, that is in relationship to something we've talked about. Maybe you've noticed something that we mentioned here in this program and it resonates for you, and we'd love to hear from you. All right, this item, and we've just been talking about MAHA, and MAHA is something that's highly politicized. I really think that the notion of making America healthy again should be a 99% proposition, right? I mean, it could be like 1% of Americans say, yeah, I don't think we should make America healthy again. Like, yeah, we should make America sicker again, or everything's fine. Don't mess with us. Don't take away our sodas or candy. I hate exercise. I mean, there may be some curmudgeon-y people who say, let's not even bother making America healthy again. But because of political polarization, we have a divide between people who are proponents of MAHA because they're conservative and people who are opponents of MAHA because they are to the left. And that's because MAHA and MAGA become conflated. But here's a big survey that suggests that there may be actually a little room for nuance in the political orientation of people in relationship to Donald Trump, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., MAHA, and MAGA. So, first of all, in this executive summary of the survey, there is majority approval, thank goodness, for the Make America Healthy Again agenda. It is at 59%. So at that crossover, it's got to be because, the country's kind of 50-50, the elections are close. And so there are some crossover voters from, presumably some Democrats who say, hey, I'm okay with MAHA, I just hate MAGA. Okay. There's also majority approval, interestingly, because this has been something that has been pushed back vociferously by the vaccine industry and by people at the CDC. There's actually been firings around this. And This is about the COVID vaccine manufacturer immunity. Okay? There's majority approval, according to the survey, for ending COVID vaccine manufacturer immunity. And so the notion is, if you don't already know this, is that vaccine manufacturers are exempted from immunity. And the rationale for that, they're given immunity. They're exempted from liability. And the reason for that is that there's no vaccine that's not going to cause any kind of reaction. And so to encourage vaccine programs, which they think are in the interest of public health, they shield companies from liability, unlike car companies. I mean, cars are a good thing, and we want cars, but we also hold manufacturers liable if the wheels come off, or if the steering wheel, falls off, or the accelerator pedal gets stuck. There's still liability. But for vaccine manufacturers, no liability. And so, interestingly, despite party divides, there's majority approval by a slight margin, 51.4% approve ending COVID vaccine manufacturer immunity. Also, and this is interesting too, because the American Academy of Pediatrics is up in arms about the changes in the vaccine schedule for kids. There's actually popular approval of that. There's majority approval for reducing the CDC childhood vaccine schedule from, I think it was like 20 to 13. They didn't say get rid of all vaccines, but they said, let's, cool it on some of the vaccines that may be optional or less mandatory. The MAGA agenda, Make America Great Again, had a 45% approval rate versus a 43% disapproval rate. So it's about 50-50 on MAGA, which is to be expected because there's a party divide. It's kind of even. The reducing mandatory childhood vaccines, 46% were for, 39% against. And whereas Trump's overall job approval stands at 48% with 47% disapproval, there is still a kind of a crossover effect where there's approval of the health agenda of the Trump administration and of RFK's MAHA movement. And perhaps there's some people who disapprove of MAHA because they don't think MAHA goes far enough. And I think there are some MAHA adherents who are disappointed by the lack of affirmative action against chemical exposures from the EPA side and also the shielding from liability that's being now extended to glyphosate. So MAHA receives 59% approval. And interestingly, it's not just among, affluent whites. It exceeds 50% across every racial category. And of interest is that among young people, there is a higher degree of approval of the MAHA agenda than there is among older people. So, perhaps it signals that younger people are more conservative or more open-minded or more health-oriented. The electorate does remain deeply polarized on personalities. So when it comes to Trump, it's like Cross of the Vampire. Same thing now. There's a little bit of that effect that applies to RFK Jr. because of his close alignment with Trump, but less so on policy substance. So when we're talking about the actual themes of making America healthy again, there's kind of a crossover phenomenon, and a majority of voters support its goals. So good news for the MAHA agenda from this survey. This item, if your quest for longevity feels overwhelming, and with so many choices out there, finally here's some good news. It starts with at least one simple daily habit, which is something I've adopted, MitoPure gummies from Timeline. They're the first ever longevity gummies that ignite mitophagy, your body's natural anti-aging pathway. MitoPure is a clinically validated solution. It's backed by over 15 years of research. I've reviewed it, and it is very compelling. MitoPure gummies utilize a powerful compound that redefines what's possible for your longevity. That is urolithin A. MitoPure produces the first ever urolithin A gummies that support your cellular energy, so you feel strong, clear, and vibrant. So boost your cellular energy and enhance muscle strength and endurance, all without changing your diet or exercise routine, although you still should. As someone who loves to stay active, I've noticed a significant boost in my workouts since I started using it. I feel stronger, more energized, and my recovery time has dramatically improved. Better recovery starts at the cellular level, at the level of the mitochondria. For more information and to order, just go to timeline.com/Hoffman and use coupon code Hoffman at checkout for 20% off. That's timeline.com/Hoffman for 20% off Mito Pure gummies with code Hoffman. All right. I recently read an article in the New York Times which reviewed natural treatments for Alzheimer's with kind of a pessimistic view. And they said, well, there's claims, the claims are out there, but there's not a lot of evidence. And these new drugs and they're promising. So, basically we should place our faith in pharmaceutical progress for addressing Alzheimer's, which is going to be a scourge of coming generations. The numbers are astronomical, and the health burden that's going to cost to America just absolutely inconceivable. So this is an item that is published in, can't read the journal. Oh, I see, it's a preprint. So it has not yet been published in a medical journal, but I got a hold of it as a preprint. Precision Medicine Treatment of Alzheimer's Disease, Successful Randomized Controlled Trial. So it's eventually will be accepted by a medical journal and published. And it's proof of an all-of-the-above approach with using diet and using exercise, using targeted nutritional supplementation. And it's unlike conventional trials, it's not just looking at one thing, because many double-blind placebo-controlled trials, you just give one thing. This is a multifaceted lifestyle intervention for Alzheimer's disease. And what they conclude is that a personalized precision medicine approach represents an effective treatment for patients with mild cognitive impairment, early-stage dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. They say in most cases this treatment leads to cognitive improvement rather than simply retarding decline. Because that's what they often say, well, maybe, if we do the right things, we can sort of prevent the decline. But actually what they're saying here is cognitive improvement, reversal of Alzheimer's symptoms. And moreover, it does so, they say, without significant side effects, such as brain edema, microhemorrhage, or atrophy. These are side effects which are associated with some of these new expensive injectable Alzheimer's drugs. And so, it's a study, the pilot study, 50 patients receiving a precision medicine protocol with 23 controls who received what's called standard of care treatment. And I think that this should raise some awareness that lifestyle approaches are worthy of investment, because not a lot of dollars are allocated to that, a lot of money allocated to developing panaceas and precision medicine targeted approaches for breaking up amyloid plaque in the brain, so-called plaque buster drugs. But this approach involves a lot of different components and has to be personalized to the needs of each individual who's suffering from cognitive decline. So good stuff here. 877-726-8255, our number, and this is Intelligent Medicine.
You're listening to Intelligent Medicine, a resource to help you take control of your health. We offer a balanced, objective analysis of all your health, wellness, and aging options, both conventional and alternative. Now you can take your engagement to the next level by joining FullScript. FullScript is my online dispensing platform that only offers curated, professional-grade supplement brands that I know and trust. Never counterfeit or expired, always stored and shipped correctly. Just go to drhoffmanstore.com for more information and to start your free FullScript account. Buying through FullScript offers fast, free shipping, optional refill reminders, a mobile-friendly site. It's safe, secure, and HIPAA compliant and offers world-class support. Just go to drhoffmanstore.com. You'll get access to the supplements and features you need to help you achieve your wellness goals, including my custom targeted protocols that combine the products I recommend to address specific needs: heart health, immune support, and much more. It's all at drhoffmanstore.com. drhoffmanstore.com. As you know, it's important to me that the supplements I recommend and use are of the highest quality. That's why I stock the Protocol for Life Balance product line at my online dispensary, drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. Protocol for Life Balance offers a wide range of professional-grade products using ingredients backed by strong scientific research, including a suite of supplements specifically designed to support neurological health and cognition: Coggumin SLCP, Magtine, phosphatidylserine, and Brain Regain. Coggumin SLPC is curcumin optimized to penetrate the blood-brain barrier, where it helps protect brain tissue. Magtine may support healthy cognitive function, learning, and memory. Phosphatidylserine supports neuronal membrane fluidity, promoting cognitive function and mental acuity. And Brain Regain is a broadly useful herbal health aid that may be advantageous for supporting healthy cognitive performance. For more information and to order, just go to drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. That's drhoffman.com/Protocol for Life Balance. Protocol for Life Balance is an A-rated GMP manufacturer of premium dietary supplements.
Subscribe to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast, updated several times weekly. Go to drhoffman.com.
Back to Intelligent Medicine, Dr. Ronald Hoffman here. 877-726-8255 is our number, as stated before, and that way you can get into the doctor's office, pose a question, as did this individual. Let's hear it.
Hi, Dr. Hoffman. I am due for a DEXA scan in April, and I have been taking strontium. I wonder how long before the DEXA scan I should stop taking the strontium. And regarding the strontium, I have recently heard that at 79 years of age, strontium may not be the best thing for me. I read that for older people it may not be good. And of course, there's a lot of controversy about it anyway. Looking forward to hearing your answer. Thank you.
Okay, so interesting question about strontium. And this is an interesting instance because here's a guy, and mostly we associate osteoporosis with women. That women get, lose bone, but so too do men. And this is brought home to me recently when I talked to a friend who said that he experienced a vertebral fracture. I said, "Well, how did that happen?" And he said, "Well, I had a cold, bad cold. It was a chest cold, and I was lying in bed, and I started coughing, and all of a sudden, when I was coughing, I got this excruciating pain in my back, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you have a vertebral fracture, and that is, often due to osteoporosis." And so, relatively young guy in his 60s, and you're 79. So, men do tend to lose bone, and that is a concern. So when it comes to strontium, one of the knocks on strontium is that it is kind of like calcium, and it gets taken up by the body, and it gets incorporated into bone. But if you look at the periodic table of elements, it's twice as heavy as an atom as calcium, and therefore it lights up more on a DEXA scan than calcium. And therefore, people say that if you take strontium, you'll put some strontium in your bone, but it'll give you a false elevation in the DEXA score. And sure enough, what happens is when you stop taking strontium, your DEXA score declines. But I'll get some more on the subject of strontium because there are some things that increase the DEXA score, but they don't actually reduce fractures. But we'll come to that in a moment. So when you stop taking strontium, it usually takes a few months for it to wash out. So maybe this isn't the best strategy for you to undertake because you'll be missing months of the benefits of strontium for your bones if you want to make sure that strontium has nothing to do with the DEXA appearance, that has an interfering effect. You can't stop like a week or 10 days before. It may take months or even a year or so for the strontium to wash out of your bones, and then you get, revert back to normal. But so if strontium just spuriously elevates your bone density, gives you like a false sense of security, then there wouldn't be studies that show that strontium actually reduces fractures. And there's also studies that show that strontium helps promote the osteoblasts, which build bone. These are bone-building cells. Strontium also reduces inflammation to some extent, and that's how some of the other pharmaceutical osteoporosis drugs work. And strontium also decreases the activity of what are called the osteoclasts. I think I have it backwards. The osteoclasts build bone and the osteoblasts break bone down. So a little, distinction there. So anyway, it enhances bone building. It decreases bone breakdown. So there you go. It actually is something that has mechanistically will help bone. And then there's studies that show that it actually reduces fracture risk. Now, these are based on studies done in Europe where strontium ranelate is a drug. It's approved as a drug. Here we use strontium citrate. Strontium ranelate has been associated with some cardiovascular risks, not frequently, rarely. It's controversial, but they've kind of put a little bit of a precaution on it over there. Those cardiovascular risks have not been seen in use of strontium citrate, and I've used it a lot here, stateside, the over-the-counter version of strontium, and it has produced increases in bone density, and I can't think of a patient who's had a bone fracture while taking strontium. I think it's a good thing. And I also haven't seen the side effects that they talk about, increased risk of blood clots or strokes associated with the strontium ranelate drug that is now less popular in Europe because of some red flags around its cardiovascular risks. So I have said that when patients have had blood clots, heart attacks or strokes, that maybe they shouldn't be using strontium. But if you don't have high risk, I think strontium is fine. Again, we haven't seen studies looking at users of the supplement strontium citrate or strontium carbonate, which is available here. And so I think it's a good thing to use. I just listened to a lecture by Laura Pizzorno, who wrote a great book on osteoporosis. She believes in strontium, and she also believes in other cofactors, especially not just calcium, but magnesium and boron, adequate vitamin D, which should be tested because it's not a one-size-fits-all, and other things that help bone density, including, make sure weight-bearing is part of your routine, too, because it helps the bones, balance training, and so on. Good luck to you. 877-726-8255, our number. This is Intelligent Medicine.